That hurt. More verticality. Recording in progress. All right. Welcome to the Straight Red Card, where drinking is prioritized, soccer is discussed, and your grandma is always welcome. Today, I think that's a pretty good start, don't you think? I didn't even have a script for that. When have we ever had a script?
Not too bad.
All right.
Don't you know that we script everything?
That would be funny if we did. No, it wouldn't be funny. That'd be the problem. It wouldn't be funny at all because we'd be like reading it. This is the Straight Red Card where drinking's prioritized, soccer is discussed, and your grandma is always welcome.
Derek, you are funny, huh?
That, as Greg says, that wouldn't fit our model, you know. Speaking of models or murals, there's this small town, I think it's Huntersville. Don't know where exactly it is in the United States, but I saw this funny article where this prankster who has now been arrested, there's a mural on a water tower, right? Big ass water tower there. And it has a mural of Johnny Cash on it. So, and some jokester from long range took out I guess he's a good shot with a rifle, and he took out his rifle and he shot Johnny Cash right in the crotch. And so the water's coming out of that area. So it looks like Johnny Cash is peeing. It's a really funny joke, but it's probably going to cost local taxpayers a lot of money to fix that. I hope he got a good laugh out of that before getting arrested today.
Only one person in this county can make that shot.
You sound like the turd reading a script. You sound like the turd reading a script.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card.
Hey, the turd got a much lengthy intro today. I don't know if you caught that. Michael Cameraman went at it, man, at the beginning of this. He even made some jokes with Greg. I think Greg questioned one of his statements at one point.
Sarcasm? You know,
was that sarcasm? No, I thought you did such a good job. What's the point of having an presser? So you'd like. All right. So let's start off with.
I was gonna say real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I listed our tweet because nobody expects us to be live on a Friday.
Oh, do you not tweet us out?
No, I tweeted us out, and I said this.
Surprise.
Just read the first sentence here.
Surprise, motherfuckers. Okay, well, James Doak said it better. It's Friday.
Do you know who James Doakes is?
I don't know. Was he a boxer?
No, he was in Dexter, the TV show.
Oh,
one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah, Dexter. I couldn't hear that, by the way.
So, bollocks.
Yeah, if I couldn't hear it, no one else could hear it either.
I forgot to share the audio.
Yep.
Well, he said surprise, motherfucker.
I watched it right. I watched Dexter right up until he started like fucking his sister or whatever that was.
Never once fucked his sister.
No, but the sister was attracted to him or something like that.
Yes.
And I didn't stop watching because of that. I guess
let's be fair. Dexter was adopted, but still fucked up.
Oh, he's adopted. That's right.
Yeah, he's not biological.
I thought that with the father was his real father teaching him how to shoot deer or something at the beginning.
His father found him in a pool of blood at the age of like 3 or 4. Not literally a pool, but blood everywhere.
Somewhere out in the forest?
No, in a shipping container. His mom got like destroyed by some local gang with like chainsaws and shit.
Huh. All right. Well, obviously I forgot more of that show than I watched, but all right. And Sounds hot. All right.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things going on here. Like, I didn't stop watching because of that. Ha ha ha.
No,
adopted sister. Yeah, he's the adopted one of the family. But
yeah. So I guess it would have been okay if they hooked up. I don't really find anything wrong with that. It would have been weird, but if you're not biological, it's very possible that, you know, instinct kicks in and you just know that's not my real sister. Of course I can fuck her. And there I was like, what the fuck? Anyhow, there are rules against that if you're biological. So not that it stopped the Royals for years and generations until you got that fucked up looking King Philip. Boy, he was one fucked up looking dude, man. That's what happens when you inbreed too much.
I love our chat.
Either way, I would have kept watching.
So just to finish off Dexter talk, because real quick, phenomenal show.
Finish off. Well put.
Phenomenal show up until the final season when it clearly the network said, "Hey, this is your last season. Wrap it up." Mm-hmm. You're just like, "Oh fuck!" And then, oh man, they fucked up that ending royal.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, I won't share the brand name, but
until they sponsor us,
it's local.
Nice. You should be able to get a sponsor if it's local.
It's good stuff.
You know, I'll drop the bourbon and start drinking something that they sponsor us.
I don't think that a lot of people care about international soccer, so I don't think they could give two flying Fs.
Hey, soccer fans drink.
Not in this posh ass bar. So that doesn't serve food. They're just a big bar.
Well, you know, for the longest time, Sun King didn't serve food either, and they got around that whole no selling liquor on Sunday if you don't have food or whatever the fuck the rule was by selling Hot Pockets for $15. You know, the sad thing is people bought them just because they could say they bought a $15 Hot Pocket at Sun King.
Dude, if you go there, right, and you haven't had much to eat all day and you start drinking and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm getting fucked up real fast. I need a Hot Pocket just to put something else in my stomach besides liquor.
For $15? Fuck.
Yeah. Ed B's the sickest. $2. Thank you, Ed. Scally finally in. About time. Hopefully he gets in. Yeah, Greg, and we'll be covering the Greg Presser did say he will be getting time. Good. So he will be playing. He didn't say he was going to start. He just said he's going to get time. All right.
So friendlies, he should start one of those.
Maybe. Probably because, well, let's start.
Well, we already know. Well, we'll get to the defense in a second. Yeah. Let's just do this. We'll just jump right in.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do goalkeepers. Yep. We already told you yesterday, this is what it was going to be.
By the way, Ed, again, just real quick, I know Derek already said thanks, but thanks for the $2. Appreciate it, man.
I thought I did say that.
You did. I said you already said it.
Oh.
Just wanted to reiterate.
Jeez, we all got to fucking chime in here.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? You want to grab one of your kids to come here and thank Ed too?
Hey, get over here. This guy just bought you a Happy Meal. You know,
he just bought you a fucking Happy Meal. Get your ass in here.
Not for $2. It's not a Happy Meal.
What are those nowadays?
3 and some change.
That's still not bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
But I mean, you know, you get half. You know, I have. But then also, YouTube takes a third of that before we take our half.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube takes a third of our.
I thought you were talking about McDonald's for a second. I'm like, why is YouTube getting a cut of a McDonald's Happy Meal? It wouldn't shock me if there was some way they were managing to pull that off. But all right, so yeah, no Slonina. But if you didn't know, Slonina committed to the United States today. Yep. Hell or high water. He's the Polish. They invited him in. He said thanks, but no thanks. And then he wrote a big fucking letter that was published that we're not going to read here. If you want to watch somebody read it, go watch Pete's Yanks 11. He read the whole letter today. It's 3 paragraphs. I just don't have the lungs to do that at this point. And I wouldn't want to do it because, well, anyhow.
But wait, I just want to say though, I saw that earlier today. Mm-hmm. There were people like, I heard from Gaga's people that he's going to be making a decision today. So I sent that to Derek, and I said, well, clearly Gaga doesn't watch our show. Because we sat there all day yesterday saying, don't rush into a decision.
Yeah.
But, it worked out for us in the end.
Yeah, there was no point in rushing. And I think I said everybody should chill out. Just let it happen. And then Greg addresses that in the presser, so we'll get back to that topic. I think it was Pete who said he'd like to see Stephen Fry instead, and I get it because he at least plays while none of these three play. Matt Turner's playing right now, but he won't be playing down the road with Arsenal. So unless he gets a loan straight out of Arsenal, like he gets there, they're like, "Oh, get the fuck out," But that may not be the case, So, we've seen this with a lot of our players that go over to the big clubs, like at Man City. They get there, they're like, "Okay, yeah, pack up your shit. You're getting loaned to Vitesse," and it happens. Or Chelsea, hey, pack up your shit. You're getting loaned to fucking some other, Dutch team. We'll figure it out, but get your shit out of here. Get out of the locker. All right. So goalkeepers, yeah, whatever. Easy. Defenders. None of these were surprising. Let me see. Go back and see if we got this right.
Yes and no.
We got it right. I said Jedi's, as far as I heard, was just getting a small scope, and I thought he was going to be on the squad, and that is in fact what happened. Others were saying it was a big scope or it was a big knee thing.
No,
and he was out.
What happened yesterday is that we were told that Jedi is going under the knife, and we're like, I can't find anything. Nobody told me anything, and then they posted the stuff. I think it was Chris Gary sent it to me on Twitter. Pulled it up, and they're like, yeah, he's going under the scope. And you're like, well, if it's just going under the scope, I mean, that's like a in and out. You're good to go in a couple days.
Yeah, classifying that as going underneath the knife is ridiculous. No, what I had to endure a couple years ago was going underneath the knife.
I did the same thing. I got the scar to prove it, too.
Yeah. Oh, you did, too?
Yeah, I blew out my left knee.
Oh, no. I was talking about when they cut me from stern down to my testicles.
Yeah. I guess you could say go under the knife depending on a specific body part. Like, hey, my knee's fucked. I'm going under the knife. Yeah. And you still know that they're going to be slicing into you and cleaning out some shit.
I guess mine would be called then. If that's a knife, then I got butchered. I went underneath the butcher's knife.
Yeah. Anyhow, Mike Myers was there.
That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, but I was asleep for it, so I don't remember it. But I did wake up. Eventually.
That's good.
Not during surgery, thankfully. Brooks. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Face.
And it was addressed multiple times by Greg in the presser, so that's probably when we'll explain it further. But we all know Brooks wasn't going to be there, right?
Again, yeah. Just in jumping back to the Robinson Jedi comment.
Mm-hmm.
We both had said Robinson. Then we got told the injury, and then we said, well, if Robinson's out, then Bellows in. But we both said that Scally was going to be playing backup to Robinson in that sense.
Yeah.
But it's possible that maybe Greg looked at Bello and then said, well, if Robinson's not going to be there, we need to make sure we have a backup to Bello, and we're going to call in Scally.
So as far as backs go, we picked Jedi, Yedlin, Scally, Cannon, and Jogo. And we were wrong about Jogo. He's not coming. It was never brought up in the presser, so we have no reason, no idea why. He wasn't on Greg's crossword puzzle list, so I guess it wasn't even discussed. I don't know, but we do know this:
4-letter word.
The Mexican
left back option.
Right.
I don't know this one. That's 5.
We do know this, and this is something Lanez, Mendez, Ledesma, and Jogo need to keep in mind. Only one player that Mexico has recently taken from us, Araujo, is on the roster for that Mexican national team coming up. No Alvarez, no Ochoa, just the normal Ochoa, the old one we're used to. So, hey, buyer beware. That's all I got to say. Buyer beware.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Preto. Did I say that right, Jake? That sounds Italian. Preto, 199. Thank you. What was first national team game you watched? Oh my God.
Well, you think about that because you got a little longer to think back.
Holy fuck! I'm not sure.
Mine, the earliest one that I can recall was the U.S. Colombia '94 game.
It was in the 80s for me. 86.
I would have only been 10 at that point. So me following the national team in a household that doesn't follow soccer at the time.
Yeah.
It's as early as I can think back.
Mine was in the 80s at some point. I was like at least 14 years old, somewhere around there. But I can't remember the exact game. But I know it was a World Cup qualifier because they didn't play friendlies on TV in the 80s. And it was, I think, a home game. Can't remember against who. It's impossible for us. So I wish I could tell you that.
I was right.
But Brito.
Prieto. I think it's
Prieto. Well, what did I say?
I don't know. I don't even recall anymore.
Okay.
I said Prieto. And you were like, oh, it's Italian, but it's Puerto Rican Irish, apparently.
Puerto Rican Irish. Well, that's an interesting mix. Hey, odd combo, he says. Okay, first thing that came on my mind. I mean, not impossible, obviously. Those two islands are, separated by a lot of miles.
A little bit of water, yeah. When there's a will,
there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way too. You heard that one? That's a Hobbit thing. The Hobbits, the Hobbit movies, classic ones. Where there's a whip, whoosh, there's a way. Anyhow,
the Hobbits are dancing.
So George Bello got on here, and that's fine. I have really no complaints with this, outside of the obvious, which is Brooks, but that's over now. We've told you it's over for a while, so that shouldn't have shocked you. The way Yedlin's playing right now, he better do something nice here, because with Miami, he's in a slump. And then you might say, well, where's Mark McKenzie? Mark McKenzie was on a roller coaster this season with Genk.
Ups and downs.
Play, don't play. Play, don't play. Play, don't play. And he did have some stinkers too. So, but we'll get into that I don't know if we'll get into the presser or not, but Greg did bring it up.
It's in the presser, but I'm not sure if we've timestamped.
I don't think we're going to cover it because neither of us were really surprised by that. No one should have been surprised. He already said he wanted to see CCV. The only thing we got wrong as well on the center backs is we had Richards in there. I guess we were hoping. But since Richards can't come, it makes absolute sense.
Who do we have in this place? Was it Long, or did we have EPB out? I thought I would have figured that we had said EPB was in, regardless.
We had Zimmerman, EPB, Richard, a CCV, Long, and so who are we missing here? You got Cameron Carter-Vickers, Eric Palmer-Brown, Walker Zimmerman. Wait a minute. Cameron Carter-Vickers, Aaron Long. There's only four
center backs.
That's really interesting.
Especially on a window that we're talking about playing a 3 center back formation.
Yeah, we brought 5. That's the only difference. Yeah.
Missing Tim Rain.
Well, again, Rain is not in camp.
Exactly.
So they don't really need.
Don't have to worry about reeling him in.
Yeah, we don't really need Tim Ream on this camp. Although I have to say, if he wasn't so slow of foot, he seriously would be considered. But he is more in the 4-8, 5-1, 40-yard sprint. So it's not going to work for, as he makes very clear in the presser, we're going to get to. All right, so that's the defenders.
Absolutely no issues on the
Scally's in.
That's expected it.
Scally's in. That makes. I'll put a sparkler in my ass and light it for that. All right, I'm happy to see him there.
I'm just gonna bring this up.
Rolled on.
Bentley said, "Rolled on." Morris Long is disgusting. Can't stand those bums. And my response was, "Surprised you should not be. Called it. We did. Drink booze. You should. Yeah.
Well, he shouldn't be surprised.
I don't think he was, but he's just once again pointing out the same thing we all point out. Like, really? Okay.
I don't know who replaces Morris right now if Ledesma doesn't take a call up, which is what he did. He did not take a call up. Basically, Ledesma told Greg, "Hey, listen, I barely got to play this season. I just got back from an injury not long ago. Let me take a break." But that's probably not what was really.
We all have favorites that we could bring in that may not necessarily deserve a call. We people always bring up Matthew Hoppe, and we do it too. But has he deserved a call up this June? No, I don't think so. Obviously, he hasn't barely played. But I would still love to see him.
It doesn't matter
wrong.
That doesn't really matter. The fact is, Greg wanted him, and Ledesma basically said, gave him a bunch of excuses. But I'm almost sure what was also said is, listen, I'm not also comfortable yet making a decision.
Sure. That's perfectly fine.
He wants to take his time. I don't blame him.
He listens to our show, apparently.
There's no rush in getting capped. There really isn't.
Yeah.
No. Although Ledesma has a long history in our youth camps and all his best buddies.
I wouldn't. I'd be surprised if he'd probably have to file a one-time switch anyways, because he's played in the U17 and I'm sure the U20 World Cup for the US.
Yeah, there's no reason for him. But I mean, I guess I shouldn't assume that was part of the discussion. It may not have been. It may be as simple as, listen, I'm worn out from all the rehabbing and I haven't really played much. And if you call me in, I'm not going to perform very well. And I don't think that's something I want to show you, just being really honest. Like right now, I'm not all the way there.
John, if he's not cap tied already, he would officially be cap tied if he played in the Nations League.
Right.
Saying that, though, I know for a fact he's played in Youth World Cups, and I would imagine that still cap ties people. As we found out with Malik Tillman. I mean, he had to file the one-time switch despite the fact not having played for the national team yet.
Right, but he did play for the German national team, so that's why he had to file for the one-time switch.
I guess that would have been an option. I mean, I know that you're suspect with Mendes sometimes, but I mean, at least he's consistently playing in the Portuguese league.
Do we know that?
Are we getting
Mendes and Lanez confused again?
Mendes plays for
Ajax.
Well, he was on loan in Portugal.
To Vizela?
Yeah.
But where was Lanez on loan to? I always forget this. Look him up real quick.
Second division Swiss, I thought, or something like that, wasn't it?
Second division Austria.
Uli Lanez.
But that might have been last season.
His current team's St. Polten.
Yeah, second division Austria. Okay, got it right. Good for me.
Yeah. But Mendes could have been a viable option.
Yeah, here's the thing about Mendes. Follow him throughout the season at Vizela. He was in favor, then he went out for a while, and at the very end of the season, he was back in favor again. So, I don't know.
Still getting playing time while playing.
I know, but Vizela's not really a good team either, but I don't know.
Whatever, is fourth or fifth top Euro League. So I mean, it's still something to write home to. And we know what we get with Areola and Morris. And I think the only reason they're included is because they're consistent stalwarts for the Nations League, not necessarily his friendlies. I don't think he's going to be concerned about that. Maybe he gives them these friendlies just so they can kind of get sharp at the national league, national team level.
Who? Morris.
More Morris than Areola, because Areola's at least been playing for the national team.
Areola's been playing great for Dallas.
Yeah.
So him before Morris at this point right now, especially since Morris has lost some of his raw speed. So Roldan is there for the vibes. Yes. And he's a good rapper, apparently. No, he's not. Let's see.
You're thinking of Dempsey.
Yeah, Dempsey's on a scale of 0 to 10, I'd give him a 6 as a rapper. All right. Kellen Acosta, we knew. Mm-hmm. Tyler Adams, we knew. Luca De La Torre, we knew. Weston McKennie, yes. This one was interesting. Jordi Mihailovic. We were hoping maybe he'd get a peek, but we didn't put him on our list. Oh, yes, we did.
We did. I mentioned Jordi. Yeah.
Yep, we did. We had him on our list. We had Ledesma on there, and then we're like, wait, nah, he would be played as a winger on Greg's system since we don't play a CAM. John Anaya, Tillman played in the U20 Euros, so he had to file a one-time switch to play for us. Yes.
That was my point with Ledesma too, John, is that Ledesma played for the U17s and U20s beforehand.
Yes.
And played at the Youth World Cup. So, yeah, I know that Tillman also played for the U20 Euros, and that's why he had to make that one-time switch. But that's the same reason why Ledesma would have to make the one-time switch. So, This is all just going back to simply saying that I don't think him making a choice is the issue here. I think Ledesma simply, according to Berhalter, and I kind of agree with this, is that he's like, I just got back from injury. I've had one game with the actual first team. I need to get reestablished here. And because we talked about this off air, what happens if Ledesma comes and he plays poorly? Just like shits the bucket.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden his stock goes from here to down here, and all of a sudden he's not even in contention for the World Cup.
And
so
listen,
he's probably looking at some
Mexico are not pursuing them. He was not called up by the Mexican nationals team, so it's not like we're worried about that right now. And again, we've already said Ledesma's best friends are like Reina and the guys on the youth teams grew up with his whole life. So, and then, yeah, Mihailovic, that's a really nice thing. I mean, he'll probably get some minutes. We'll see how that goes. Especially if Greg does what he said, which is some of the mainstays are going to leave after the first 2 games to give them a break.
Ledesma did not play for the U17s, but he did play in the 2019 U20 World Cup.
Yes,
that's where he's officially tied, guys.
Yes, he needs.
Sorry, I had to keep pulling that up. I had to fix it.
He had to make a decision. Yunus Musa, we knew. Christian Roldan, we suspected, although we didn't have him on our list. And Malik Tillman, we knew as well. And yes, he's listed as a midfielder here, but he's probably going to play only as he's really a second striker or a CAM, which we don't play either of those unless we go to Greg's 3-4. What do you call it? 3-4-2-1. And then he'd play in that 2 as an 11 would be my guess. Or I don't know, a double paired 10. I don't know in the 2. So I don't know what you want to call that. Some people call it an 11. Some people call it dual 10s. But there you go. All right. We can move on.
With you, John. I'm with you on this one. But yeah, we got that. Midfield was simple.
Yes. Forwards, we also got almost 100% right as well. We got Brendan. We got Areola. We got Ferreira. We got Morris. We also got Pulisic correct. Temwea right. And Haji right.
So what benefited us here is that we went up to 29 players on our prediction.
Right. So we added Ledesma to ours here in the forward section. And he's not on the list. So we had one more, and we had too many players on our list. But it does make it easier to get it right when you have, you can.
Let's name 40 next time. We'll be 100%.
You'll be 100% right. Can't be wrong at all. So anyhow, people surprised by, Brooks not being there. Again, we're going to get into that. But yeah, this is it, folks. It's not a surprising list. It's not awful.
We talked about this list literally yesterday, and pretty spot on. And for the most part, you have to take into consideration the injuries in tow. It's pretty obvious who's going to be there as far as a quote unquote starting 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you look at the outliers. Who's Berhalter going to get a look at? We knew Wright, we knew CCV. We heard Tillman before too long, before even we announced what we thought was going to happen. We guessed Jordy, and that was really the only one we had a guess on.
Here's what I'm hearing, though. I'm hearing that Greg is going to let McKennie and Pulisic go home after the first 2 friendlies to get rest.
I heard there were a couple of players that were going to get released before the Nations League.
Yeah, just to get a breather. So,
I didn't hear names though. So,
or those are the ones I've heard. I knew that he had already said it. I just didn't know who the players were. Or those were the 2 players that I've been told. So
Derek,
far.
Did you watch Tech Stream?
Who?
Tactical.
Yes.
Okay, so Jose, I didn't want to bring this up if we didn't. Did you watch his stream and his pig story?
Which stream? Because I missed the first. I missed a bunch of minutes at the beginning. I watched Jimmy's, and it was 10 minutes long, so I missed the first 10 to 15 minutes of Tax Show.
10-minute stream, wow.
Yeah, that's all they did on this roster.
That's fucking efficient. Yeah,
no shit. They're like, here's the roster.
We're still talking about Dexter 10 minutes in.
Yeah, they went ahead. Excuse me, and just went through the roster real quick, and yeah, that was it. It was just Jimmy and Heath, and I got nothing to bitch about. They basically didn't say anything to, So then we had to wait for hours and hours before the presser came out on YouTube from US Soccer. Which I don't know why it took them so long to get it up. It's like, you know, an 82-year-old man at a whorehouse. It's like, come on, guys, let's get going here.
Well, and I was telling you, looking up for a question that's going to come up later about the U20 World U20 U23 World Cup qualifying here. I just wanted to fucking find some dates, and so I went to the U.S. Soccer's website, and the last thing they have for the U.S. Youth U20s was from like the beginning before the pandemic, so like March. It was like March of 2020.
So
that was the last thing.
We used to blame it on the janitor that's down there and who is in the basement of US Soccer, who's responsible for updating the website. But it's not just the janitor's fault. It's the guy that's creating the information that's doing a bad job. Like, that site could be full of really interesting stuff, and it's not. It sucks. It's a horrible site. Hey, US Soccer, your fucking site sucks ball sack.
How hard is it to put up a press? How hard is it to put up just a quick 2-paragraph thing about, because how many camps have there been for the U20s since they started up again here? How many games have they played? Does anybody know any of the results that don't actively go out and seek them? There was a time where there are games going on for the U20s that USSF didn't even talk about on Twitter.
No.
We had to go and dig it through like Argentina's Twitter handle. Let's find out that the score was for a game against like Paraguay. It's like, what?
They give so 2 fucks about their website. It's unbelievable.
Social media should be a thing. They should at least be able to post that shit actively.
I know.
How hard is that?
They're bad on that too. Yeah. Come on, Michael Cameron, get your shit together. Let's get some information out. Let's get the whole stats section that used to be in US Soccer where you could look up any stat or you could look up any past game over the last numerous years. You know, where'd that go from 10 years ago? Sorry, Derek, but US Soccer can't afford a YouTube editor. Probably not, I guess. I don't know. It's sad to me. I mean, a yak's asshole could do a better job, honestly.
We've talked about this a lot, and we've beaten the website to a bloody pulp in the past. But, I mean, how hard is it to just stay active socially? I mean, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, fuck. We can, 2 idiots with a microphone can sit here and record a video, and it posts automatically to YouTube.
Let the janitor get back.
Take a whole hell of a lot of effort, guys.
Let the janitor get back to cleaning the building and hire someone who not only can create content, but also make it happen. I mean, how hard the fuck is that? You know, how hard is it? Or it's the problem that any content they create needs to go all the way upstairs to the man with the small dick that runs the organization, or not that part of the organization, the marketing, and he has to sign off on it. Or she. I don't know. In that case, she has a really small dick. Anyhow.
Their Twitter isn't bad for the national teams. When it comes to the youth teams, it's pretty sparse.
I don't even think it's that good for the national team.
They post shit.
It isn't bad, but it ain't good. And it could at least be good. I'd say it's average to below average. Anyhow, what would I know? I'm not on Twitter unless you send it to me. Although I do get that shit in my email. Because I'm still on Twitter, I just don't use it. And I'm obviously following US Soccer, so I get in my emails. Have you read this? This is from US Soccer. And I get Taylor Twellman's in my email too. So apparently I followed him on Twitter at some point 10 years ago before I decided this place sucks. I'm out of here.
I had no idea you even had Twitter.
I do. Derek Ritchie. Yep. All right. All right, so that's the forwards. Yeah, Haji Wright, we already told you about as well.
TNT. We're dynamite.
Mate. TNT. We're going to win that fight. Yeah. TNT. I'm a power load. Little AC/DC there. All right. So let's get to Greg's little ditty.
All right. Where do you want to start off with this bed? Hold on.
I
need to make sure the audio is working.
All right. Why did Greg go back to the penis head, Greg? Why did they go back to doing that foggy background that makes it look like he's got a penis
blurry
head?
Background? Yeah, he's sending us a message. We're the only ones that bring it up.
You can see
clearly he's talking to us. This is the message, guys. He's talking to us.
He's got like that line above his bridge, his eye bridge, that makes it look like a line for a penis head, and then all you need is a little dick hole on the top, and you got a penis. Why do they do that? Are they afraid that the people in the background will start humping near the windows again? Yeah.
Yep.
I don't get it. Just stop doing that, guys. The background is fine. As long just make sure.
Is the guy in the background, making sitting on a printer, getting photographs of his ass?
Exactly. You just need to make sure that Chuck and Lisa aren't fucking in the windows in the background. Other than that, it should be fine. You shouldn't use this penis head background because that's what it makes it look like. His head is a penis head. All right. Just marketing advice to them. Does Greg want to look like a penis head? No, he does not. So quit doing it to him. So what's the word on Richie and Jogo? Oh, we just talked about those guys.
Yeah. Well, Serge, Richie is taking a break, and he's going to try to establish himself at PSV. No word on Jogo.
No word. No one said a word about him. Not even the presser did anybody bring him up. Not a word. So there you go. He did not get called up to Mexican camp, though, because only one American did. Araujo.
Came in late, LOL.
No shit. Hey, listen, you gotta spank off quicker than that.
Well,
so
and on top of that, who would have thought that we would have been here on Friday night looking at this face right
That's true. We don't usually do Friday, but instead of 40 Yanks, you only needed to do 11, and then you would have made it in time. All right. That's why Pete's so efficient. All right. Little Pete joke there. Hope Pete likes it. All right. So let's start with 625. And this is this one just simply lets us know we're not going to see a lot of Weston in this camp. Starting.
Hopefully, and this is hopefully we can get to a point where he can start one of the Nations League games, but that's not guaranteed.
Oh, well,
he's been doing a great job.
Cut off a lot there, but
getting back, and for us, it's just great to have him back in camp and hopefully get him some playing time throughout camp.
Well, that's odd. So McKennie can't be leaving then for after the first two friendlies.
No, I don't think he is.
So who are these main players he's talking about that are not going to be playing the whole window for us, the 4-game window? I don't understand it. I don't get it. All right. So that was just something I heard across. Oh no, Pete said it.
I was gonna say I heard on Twitter that there were a number of players that were leaving after the friendlies, and some players that might show up for the Nations League.
Well, maybe he should have brought 35 players then.
Why the fuck not at that point?
I should have time marked that part where he again says 35 players is too many players.
It's a little chaotic, and I can't control that many players.
And then they just end up riding pine, and what's the good of that?
They're out here for 2 to 3 weeks when they could be at their clubs, and I'm like, well, no, this 2 to 3 weeks is like the holiday time for the European players.
Yeah, so
you could have called some players in just to keep them in the fold.
Well, then he mentioned some players that he would have liked to bring in, but aren't quite ready yet. Eric Williamson, John Tolkien from New York Red Bulls, and there was one other. And so I guess, it was just those players he was worried about, because the Euro guys, they might need a rest, because like guys like Pulisic, well, he's been injured a lot. What's a better example? Anyhow, they play a lot of games this season. They haven't had a break yet. All right. That's Weston. Don't expect to see him start until maybe the Nations League game. Then we got the first Brooks obfuscation starting at 11:35. The first Brooks obfuscation.
Yeah, sorry, fuck it.
Correctly. So why would the fact that he's going to a new club preclude his participation in these upcoming games? And then a second question I had is Richie Ledesma just made his way back, playing first team football again. Where does he kind of stand, and how close was he to being called in?
I spoke to Richie, had a conversation with him.
Fuck Greg. Fuck Brooks.
We were on that based on the entire season.
I'm going to talk about Richie.
Extremely taxing for him, mentally and physically taxing. Getting back from injury, getting injured again. He feels like he needs this time to recover and prepare for the next preseason. And it was great to end the season on a high note by scoring a goal. But he doesn't feel like he's ready to make the impact to compete for the first spot in the team.
And literally, he was high when he scored that goal too.
That was my conversation with him. In terms of John, him going to a new club doesn't preclude him from this roster.
Fuck him though.
The point was, we're going to be able to see him now in his new environment.
Like his
hopefully
old
doing
environment was
things
bad,
that are
apparently.
similar to what we need him to do, and that could help him, make a case to be on the roster. That was simply it. We want to look at Cam Vickers and we want to look at Eric Palmer Brown in this game. Eric Walker Zimmerman and Aaron have been with us the whole time. They're going to play games as well. We didn't think there'd be
The
enough
whole time?
game time
Really?
to get a guy like John Brooks on the field.
I think
So
Long's
because
been there
of
the
that, we
whole
didn't bring
time.
him in.
And I hate his guts.
It's just, he's going to be at a new club, and we'll evaluate him at his new situation and see if he can do well there. Yeah, don't ignore all those games prior at Wolfsburg because it wasn't doing very good there.
He's too slow. Sorry about that. Did I say something?
What? We got to keep the window open, man. Because if only Brooks can run that 40 in 4.2 seconds.
Yeah. I mean,
Then at that point we can call him back up.
Exactly.
Because he's got to track all the way back when we fuck up, guys.
And he gets into that more clearly later.
Yeah, he does.
But there he explained the Ledesma situation. But yeah, after that Brooks thing, he should have coughed like, oh, shit.
I really hate him and started wanting him to play for us. Excuse me, I need to get a cough drop.
Hate that motherfucker. All right, and then he gets into Brooks again, and this question wasn't even about Brooks at 14:07. It's like it was another chance to take a swipe at Brooks.
Brooks, trust me, he's not out permanently. That's not our idea.
Bullshit.
The idea is we want players that can fit our game model, that can play in our game model, and can make us better. And in Haji's case,
run faster.
He's making a very strong case for being able to do that.
Rewind that back to like 14 and start over again. I feel like I'm
in that position.
There we go.
So, but again, I've always said to you guys that we don't rule any player out permanently. That's just not how we work.
Not even Breck Shea?
Asking about John Brooks, trust me, he's not out permanently. That's not our idea. The idea
just while I'm the manager.
Our game model that can
after November, then he can come back.
And in Haji's case, he's
right.
making a very strong.
That's all. But he clearly says that Brooks doesn't fit the model. It's
pretty much, man. Pretty much.
Yeah, when Brooks turns 32, he's welcome back. All right. It's just, oh, God. And then the Slonina thing at 21:35, he talks about the one danger he experienced when talking to Slonina on the phone.
Is it 21:35?
21:35, yeah.
Imagine a 17-year-old being that determined, and I've been really impressed with Gaga, just his mindset, and if you could imagine a 17-year-old being that determined, and I think the danger was, and this is.
Have you ever seen a horny 17-year-old? They can be pretty dangerous.
I can't bring you to this camp because of your form. I just can't do it. We have guys at really high levels and experienced guys that played for us before, and your form hasn't been good enough. And I can understand if you're going to go take a look at Poland.
I like that answer.
With this. And, it was, and his response, was great. It was, he understands where he's at. He's going to work to get out of where he's at, but he said he's still committed to us. And that's all, that's all you could hear. You make relationships with players, you welcome players into the group, guys make them feel welcome, and you hope that's enough that in the end of the day, they decide.
They play Dance Revolution every Friday.
His heart was telling him where to go. And that's a really important part of the equation.
All right.
So yeah. So
we told you.
I joked around and I said that he went the Rongen route, where he's like, Rongen went up to Spotich and goes, "Yeah, I don't think your form's there. I'm going to go with this guy over here instead."
Yeah, the difference.
And he's like, "I'm going to go play for Serbia."
Yeah, well, the difference was Subotic did deserve to be called up to that team, whereas young.
I'd have to go back and look, but if I recall correctly, he was not playing up until like the last month prior to the call up.
Look at all the players that did get called up at center back by Rogan.
Dude, I'm not saying
that.
I'm not. In hindsight, it's definitely not 2020. You go back there and say like, yes, Sabatic was better than this guy. Absolutely. I'm just saying that he went with the same route that he said here. Like, based
none
on
of
current
none
formation,
of them ever ended up playing in the Bundesliga. I'll tell you that much. So, I mean, listen, we all know Rongren is Rongren. He's a moron. All right, so, all right, I don't care if he hears that. I never liked him.
He's going to be on our show next week, guys. Thanks, Derek. Made it really awkward, man.
How many people have I screwed up shows for at this point by being a dick here on this show? All right, and then the big last one, which was 2340, replacing Miles. And this is really interesting because, again, he undercuts Brooks in this statement. Again, without saying his name, he undercuts him.
Ready for an advert.
That includes Walker, keeping him at that standard, making sure that the line keeps moving high, keeps.
Believe in who you
Do we
are.
get paid for this? This is the 6th time
Channel
this
it into
commercial's
skill
come up
and
on here.
purpose.
I'm kind of
No way.
sick of this commercial. Can we back that up then to 21:30? I don't know how I got so off on this.
21:30?
23:30. Somehow I fucked this up. They're not right.
So we're absolutely going to be looking for, a guy that can do that also. And that includes Walker, keeping him at that standard, making sure that the line keeps moving high, keeps condensing the field. That's really important to our game model. So,
Game model.
Aaron Long has speed. We know that he's aggressive, playing forward, pressing forward. So that's a good sign. Eric Palmer Brown, I think can improve on that, but he does have the pace cover behind him. And Cam's doing that with speed. They play against most of their opponents. They're in the half of the opponent, and he has to play with a lot of space behind him. So
speed.
Really, again, looking forward to seeing these guys in camp.
So there you go.
Fast guys,
it's all about all the things that Brooks is not speed. And if we're going to play this high line, which he keeps saying over again, and so do we, so we sound like a fucking broken record. That means they're going to be two guys in the back along being covered by Adams, and they got to get ready because balls are going to be lofted over their head, and the center forwards are going to go run after it, and they got to be fast enough to go catch up to him and stop it on the counter. So that's why Brooks is in here, and why he just doesn't come out and say, well, Brooks needs to run a 40 in a 4-1 or a 4-2, and then I'll invite him back, or a 4-3.
Going off of Jose's comment here, basically what Berhalter's saying is, hey, we've already got our slow center back. Zimmerman's going to play for us. He's probably starting most games. And then, so Walker has gotten burned all year. Going to be fun watching Harry Kane, a slow-ass fuckhead, get past him.
Walker is still faster than, believe it or not, Brooks in a straight sprint. But you're right; they're both kind of languid when they run.
They're both the slow options. You're
not
going to see a Zimmerman and Brooks tandem by any means.
Yeah. So whoever is next to Zimmerman, who is obviously at this point our starter, regardless of how bad he's playing at Nashville right now, they're going to have to be the quicker of the two.
So. And I haven't watched many Celtic games, but has CCV improved on his speed? Because if I recall correctly from watching his championship games, he wasn't the fastest center back out there.
No, he's not. He's more of a Zimmerman replacement than he is a fast guy.
So, CCV. I mean, that would be the Zimmerman, CCV, and Brooks mold, I guess, in that sense.
Right.
You pair him with, I guess, a Long / Miles mold and Richards.
Well, can't do Miles. He's out. He's done.
Sure. No. I'm saying that mold, that quick pace.
I mean, in this
center
camp,
back that can cover,
In this camp, he'll be paired with either Eric Palmer Brown, or Long, because they're fast enough to track back, and they're very athletic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You have your slow mold and mixed with your fast mold,
right?
Quicker mold, not fast by any means.
Yeah. So those were the interesting parts of this interview. We only plan to do an hour tonight, so if you have any questions, let's hear them before we got about 10 minutes. So Jose Lopez, CCV is a athletic freak, sir. How dare you? Laughing out loud. No, he is an athletic freak.
I just don't think I don't necessarily think he's the fastest center back option.
No, he's not the fast.
He can be athletic and not fast. I mean, hell, we're talking about Brooks. Brooks is athletic, but he's not fast.
And unfortunately, like other things, like NFL, where they have the combine.
There you go. Somebody's agreeing with us.
Unfortunately, like the NFL, where you have the combine and you know exactly how fast everybody is in a 40, we don't have that information. So we don't know. We can only see it with our own eyes. So
Jose, we're not saying CCV is not a good center back. We're just saying he's not the fast archetyped center back.
Not for Greg's system.
Yeah.
And that if he's going to play, he's going to have one of the faster guys right next to him to cover his ass when the ball gets hoofed over his head and the center forward goes running after it. So, and that's going to be, as we said, Long or EPB. All right. They're both fast. Well, EPB is probably faster than Long, but Long's
How does your
still
grading
slow.
system work again?
A is awesome. B is, well, you could have done better, but it was okay. C is, you can't do that again. E and D is, don't do that again. That sucked.
No.
And F is, that fucking sucked. You fucking suck. That's how the system works. EPB is pretty fast, has good lateral movement, just inexperience. I would agree with that. To some extent. I think he's gotten some experience on his loans. So I wouldn't say he's like absolutely out of it. He played for the second best Austrian team, which is, you can say, well, the Austrian league sucks. But yeah, it's probably worse than MLS. I'd say that. Outside of like the top 2 or 3 teams. Jeremy Jones, show the roster. We got to go back to the roster. You want to throw up the big one with all the players on it? Apparently, Jeremy missed our position by position analysis, if you want to call it analysis, in between all the Dexter talk and people.
And that's the important part. That's the important part of the show.
People having sex with their sister.
Dexter.
An unrelated
stepsister.
Stepsister.
Let's be legit on this, come on, man.
Be what? Legitimate?
Legit.
Legitimate. What's
not
legitimate? It's not. Like, what are you talking about?
How's this not in the early part? I'm just scrolling through Twitter to pull up. All right, fuck, I'm going to go to USSF.
I know it is no longer in the Dropbox, Brett, because when you
it's on my laptop right now.
You didn't copy and paste it.
No,
You just lazily dragged it.
Yep, pretty much. But I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Because I went back there to break down the players today, or the positions today, and it was gone. I'm like, motherfucker, just drag that shit out of the Dropbox. Now I got to go save it again. Jeremy, is there any particular question you have about the roster, or is this the first time you're seeing the roster, or you haven't seen it, so now you want to see it?
Yeah.
We're happy to oblige.
We'll just do a quick recap, I guess.
We're happy to oblige. However, that's too small. But you can go to ussoccer.com and find it yourself. It's there. And then you can go re-watch all the show you missed earlier and follow along.
This was we need more Brazilian Americans to join USMNT. This was like
Filippo?
Point. Filippo pointed this out, yeah.
But Cardoso's not playing.
Well, he's just talking about in general. We have all the German American options because that's where we're. But we need more Americans that are in Brazil.
Well, we don't have army bases in Brazil. That's not going to happen. Well, that's why all these German. We don't. We don't have any in Brazil. So that's why we got.
No. I'm talking about
German
players.
Americans.
I'm not talking about stations. Maybe a couple of Americans down there.
How many Brazilian Americans are there? That's not a normal thing to happen.
And Tack talked about this. So Tack talked about how the problem is that if you're Brazilian American and you're born and raised in Brazil, then you're going to be thinking to yourself as purely Brazilian, not necessarily American.
Okay,
that's never going to be a contention.
And there are American businesses in Brazil. Don't get me wrong, but there are a lot more in Europe.
Sure.
Okay, and so we got all the army bases in Germany. We got a number of them in England. Yeah, so that's where we're going to get most of the German American babies and the English American babies. So, hey, Biden, put some military bases in Brazil and Argentina.
Let's get some servicemen over there reproducing. Yeah, come on, guys.
And then with Mexican Americans, it's because obviously we've had a lot of folks join us over the last decade or so. Probably way longer than that. But so, yeah, there you go. That's how that works.
Okay, so let's jump through some questions here, I guess.
All right.
Sean says, this is for Derek. Do you think since Tillman is listed as a midfielder that Greg will play him as a 10 this window? Brett put the idea in my head.
I don't know why Brett did. But if the only way he plays the 10 is if we play that 3-4-2-1 that Greg talked about today. And that way, I mean, you can call it 11 or a 10 if you want to call it a 10. I think it's more likely to be a dual 10 behind the center forward if we do play a 3-4-2-1. So we'll see how that goes. My people will keep coming. Laughing out loud. Don't worry. Yeah, well, you know, so it is. It is what it is. Let's see. U.S. men's national team of Middle America only. Berhalter keeps bringing Roldan in, but he doesn't really play much lately for the U.S. men's national team. Wouldn't it be better to bring in a Mendez or Pomacall to get experience with the way GGG wants to play? I mean, we've already talked about Pomacall. I mean, I just need Pomacall to have a good season. His last season at Dallas, his last season at Dallas was awful.
He's been milking his promise for a while, plus injury.
Yeah, and a lot of injuries. He's had a better season this season so far, but not enough for me to like grab him by the nuts and pull him into the national team.
And Mendez in this situation would actually take the place of a Morrison or Areola more so than a Roldan.
Probably.
I mean, you could, in theory, leave Roldan off and bring him in and just throw another midfielder or another striker up there. Sure. But in keeping where Mendez would play for the U.S. men's national team, he'd probably take Areola or Morris's spot if he brought him.
And again, Mendez is still developing. He's still developing. I get it. Call him in over Roldan. But then you're missing Roldan's charm and wit in the locker room, right? Who's going to tell?
Who's reading the chat again, Derek? Pomacall doesn't have the same vibes.
Who's going to spy on the players for Greg if Roldan's not
Bluetooth
there?
Speaker. Yeah.
Who's going to spy on the team if he doesn't have Roldan there, right? Because Bream used to do that for him. Now he's only got one guy left because he lost Leggett. He was the other spy. He's gone. So you got to keep one spy in camp, right?
Help out that coaching staff. That coaching staff can't do their job without Roldan or Leggett.
One guy that can knock on Greg's door.
Hey.
And he comes in and he says, Greg, McKenny, he's fucking Pulisic's sister. Thought you should know.
We just keep going back to that, don't
we? Somebody's got to be able to do it, man. And he's coming in late. Real late at night, and he's really drunk. And I think he's got
good for Weston if that's the case. If he's coming late,
I think he's got the Rona.
All right, Pulisic and Tillman behind striker in a 3-4-2-1? Question mark.
Yes, exactly. And right up top or Ferreira up top. Yeah, that would be the call. Yep, I would like to see it once. We might do it against some really shitty team, like the two teams we're playing before like Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. We're not playing any shitty okay. Yeah, there's some other bad ones after that too. Not El Salvador though. So they're pretty good in Asia. They're going to give us a battle. Roldan told Greg about Miazga kicking his dog. Hey, Greg. Yeah, Matt.
You know, Mitzi got his broken foot, right?
Roldan the spy. Actually, I thought that was legit, but he's gone now, so he's got to rely specifically.
Now there was rumor whenever Leggett had a tiff with Berhalter that Miazga took the fall for Leggett kicking Mitzi. And Mitzi's the name for the dog I'm getting. I'm adding a name to it. We're just adding to the lore, guys.
God, what a weird name for a dog, Mitzi.
Yeah, Berhalter would it sounds like a Berhalter name.
I thought he'd name the dog after his shoes. That's what I would think. So like Adidas or Nike, right?
He has like a kind of like a waspy kind of sound to it, like like a purse puppy, if you will.
It's like a 19th.
Little Mitzi wants a bone. Here you go.
It sounds like a nickname for an old woman in the 1930s.
I know exactly.
All right, we got more.
Yeah, we're on right here.
Oh, Berhalter keeps bringing.
Oh, we
Rodon.
just did that one.
We just
actually.
did
Never
that
mind.
one.
Well, hold on. Big Harry Jake says, "Man, hot dang old straight red rude card." I can't do what's his faces from.
I can.
Okay, go for it.
Man, hot dang. Old straight root car. Going like boy. Talking about, see, you all here there, man.
I think that's even too much enunciation because.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't really. You
What is
can't
his-
actually.
Guys, what's
understand
his name? I can't think of it right now.
him. Like it's Hank's friend, right?
Yeah, of course. Like Dale?
Budenauer? Oh, Dale. It is
it
Dale. I think it's Dale. It's been a long time since.
Let
I've
us know,
watched that film.
guys.
I think that's Dale. Pretty sure.
It's Boomhauer.
It is
That's right.
Boomhauer. So
Or
I got it right.
Boomhauser. One of the two.
Boomhauser? Okay.
One of that range. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. Okay. Dr. Drew Piesic. Dr. Drew Pisac. Dr. Drew Pisac? Is that right?
Yeah, Dr. Drew Pisac.
Okay. Any idea when the U20 roster is? Ah! You couldn't go to the US soccer site to find it, could you?
No.
'Cause
But
they-
you can't go to chasingacup.com and find it. So the time frame is June 18th through July 3rd. My guess is a roster will be announced a week before this.
Okay, but we have to guess because those guys that are waxing their dolphins down at fucking US Soccer's basement can't figure out how to put a basic goddamn
June
schedule
11th.
together.
That's when I think the roster will be announced, guys.
Idiots. Fucking morons. Provide people with information. Jesus. Also, shout to my parents. It's their 30th wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary to Lisa and Herb Everschmeltz. Sounds like a fine Jewish couple. All right. I don't know how your name became Pisac if your parents' last name is Everschmeltz. Herb Everschmeltz. Okay. Chris Gary. What will Doyle and Lala say when Roldan scores a 87th goal to make it 8-0 against Granada to score his very first U.S. men's national team goal? Doyle will probably jizz in his pants. Lawless will just smirk in an arrogant way and say, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I told you guys about.
That's what he brings to the national team, guys.
This is what this guy brings to the national team, and he needs to be respected. That's what Lawless would say.
Schmetzer's over there.
And he proved it tonight against Granada. He proved it tonight. That's what Lawless would say, honestly. But
Schmetzer's going to be like, yeah, this is why I should be the national team coach and not Greg Berhalter, because I knew this from the get-go.
But Doyle would just jizz in his pants. Something. It's just like a fucking George.
He's answering that what Lawless and Doyle would do.
Oh, I thought this was like a George Harrison quote. Something about how he was the best player on the field. Do. And the trolls are punching air. Is that
right?
what? Who's saying that? Lawless or Doyle?
Yeah, Lawless and or Doyle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think they both say that. I'd say Lawless would be more likely to say that. Doyle would just go off and do what he usually does, which is advocate for.
I mean, he would troll. Doyle would troll.
Doyle would just go off and say, Vasquez should be on the team. Abubasi needs to be considered.
I think Doyle would probably go the route of saying that, Cristiano Ronaldo never scored against Grenada. Therefore, Roldan is better than Ronaldo.
I'm not going to be that hard on Doyle. Come on.
I don't have. I mean, outside of his bad takes, and some of them are obviously trolls.
Yeah,
I've never had a problem with Doyle.
His take today on
personally, I've never had a problem with him personally.
Dude, we met the guy.
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Personally, I mean, I don't agree with all of his takes by any means, but
no, we don't.
I think a lot of his takes are just literally knowing what Twitter is and trolling the shit out of people.
Yeah, because that starting 11 you sent me was either a troll or it's just the best.
100% MLS. That's what it was, I think.
What players should be on the U.S. men's national team? Jeremy, we've got a number of shows that we've already covered where we've covered who's going to be in the World Cup, who's the likely, and who's going to get left off. Obviously, Brett and I both think Brooke should be on this team, but he's not on this team. We've been calling for Scally for a while. Here's Scally. We got him.
I mean, as a whole, there are fewer snubs than there are than most people would think.
I would like a lot of players to not be injured, like Brayna and Richards, because they'd probably be on this team if they weren't injured. So, and PFOC might be on this team. But I do think Greg was pretty committed to bringing Haji Wright in.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Haji Wright is, as I said, and now I'm not the only one saying it, a faster, more skilled PFOC. Honestly, that's what he's shown this year in Turkey. He's faster. He's not languid like PFOC at all. He's still great in the box.
I mean, he also talked about how Haji went from team to team and never really made his mark, and then this one is an outlier because he did make his mark. He's done well. He's done well this year, and that's why he deserves a call up when he does.
He went team to team on his own volition. He could have stayed. Saunders just did not want to let him go. In fact, they're going to contractually hold him to his contract, but he really wanted to go to Turkey, and so he got to go. So he kind of forced himself out.
I'm just saying, team after team, he never really established himself until this year.
Dude, he scored a lot of goals for Saunders.
For who?
A lot of goals, yes.
Say it again. Who's it for?
Sonder. I'll spell it for you. S-O-N.
No, I'm just gonna go to.
Just go to Haji Wright.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's quicker. I thought you meant spell.
Saunders. 15 appearances, 1 goal.
For Saunders.
Oh, sorry. So no. Sorry, that's Saunders. Never mind. So in 29 appearances, he had 11 goals.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's a goal every 3 games.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So something about how he was the best player on the field and the trolls. Oh, we already read that. So thank you, Jeremy, by the way, for the super chat.
For the $2. Appreciate it, man.
We got
again,
guys.
Just to finish that on again, there are very few players that are being snubbed as a whole. There are definitely players who are fan favorites that they would like to see. Again, people who want to see Mendes, people who want to see Ledesma,
Breck.
That's very few people who want to see that. People are getting their chance now with like Jordy, and although we've seen Jordy going through the ranks. I mean, it was only a matter of time before he had the national team.
Yeah. The question is, where do you play him? That's the question.
That was the problem with the Olympic qualifiers. They didn't know how to play him. They played him in the midfield one game, then they played him out wide as a striker as an option.
Yeah,
and they just didn't know how to use him in a 4-3-3, and that might be the problem that Berhalter finds.
This very constrictive 4-3-3 that we play really limits the kind of players that we can bring in that can play in their natural position. So Timothy Tillman, if he gets forced out wide or playing this as an 8, I mean, he's not really an 8. He's a 10, and it's going to be uncomfortable. I mean, I'm sure they're going to give him a shot.
I just think whatever the other 8 that he's paired with, they're going to play more of an offensive and a defensive-minded role. So I think, let's say if he's matched with like Luca De La Torre or even McKinney or Musa, I just think that Tillman's probably going to be pushing further up.
All I have to say is he better be ready to not do what his brother does. His brother, lazily saunters back on defense. Now, that got better as the season went on for Firth, but at the beginning of the season, when he would come in, he'd be like, yeah, I'm just going to lazily run back to my 8 spot and play some defense. You can't do that. You got to go, because Greg's system requires you to go balls out 100% of the time as an 8. You got to be ready to go forward. You're going box to box, basically. That's what you're doing as an 8 on Greg's system. So hopefully he understands that.
He kind of alluded to Tillman's deficiencies in the defensive side. So it makes me think again that he's going to rely on the other 8 to pick up more defensive responsibilities. And we saw that kind of oddly enough, with Musa sitting back further in the last couple windows and say, who was he partnered with at the time? Luca De La Torre, I guess.
Yeah. And then Acosta in one game.
Yeah. And Musa was sitting back further, almost as far back as as Adams at the 6.
Well, that's because they were man marking Adams at one point, so somebody had to come back and help.
So it's one of those things. Like I think that there may, when it comes to those eights, the dueling eights, I think one does tend to kind of play more of a defensive role, and one tends to play more of an offensive role, which you would expect with like a Musa or McKinney to play more of the offensive side of things. But I guess if you're paired together with there, it's kind of a give and take. You hope.
Well, being that McKinney won't be playing much or starting much, this window, I think we're going to see a lot of De La Torre, a lot of Musa, and then usually Musa gets left out of one game altogether, and that's when you put in like Tillman, So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens here. But Tillman's going to play, would be my guess. So 8:45 then? What?
This is an 8:30 kickoff on our stream.
All depends on Derek's laptop. So yeah, I learned how to trick my computer into working.
You beat Skynet. Well done.
If you use Chrome all day, you close it and then you turn on Edge and use that for this. Because otherwise, Chrome, just like if you use Edge all day, it breaks down.
Let's start with this first.
Tillman gonna be the 9.
And then he brought 2 other 9s.
Yeah.
So Derek, what did I say about this?
I'd like to see that, but I don't think it's going to happen, Nate.
We kind of have a third 9 in the ranks, don't we?
Yeah, Morris, shut up.
Yeah, Morris was on Conrad's show after the Champions League win, and he said like, yeah, it all panned out in the end. He was right, and I listened to him. But no, he flat out stated that USSF and Berhalter's squad came out and said, "Hey, you confident with playing at the 9?" And I don't think that he's going to play the 9. I think he's going to be a fallback if they need another 9 option in case somebody gets injured or whatever. But I think it's predominantly going to be Ferreira and Haji Wright this window.
Morris didn't deliver the whole conversation. They said, "Are you comfortable playing a 9?" And then he said, "Yeah."
Psych.
And, he said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "It doesn't look like it." So there you go. That's how that conversation went. If we play a 10 in this window, Derek should do giveaway for a T-shirt. I don't want to give away a T-shirt for me being wrong.
So yesterday we had somebody ask us if the U.S. beats England, what are you going to do? And Derek talked about having sex with a sex doll.
Yeah.
And now he just has to do a T-shirt giveaway if we play at 10. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get a little more creative.
That's a step down, Chris. But thanks for the $4.99. I appreciate it, man.
More OnlyFans content.
Thanks for always being here and sending us the tough questions. But I just don't think it's going to happen. And
here's the thing. Yeah, even if Tillman plays as a 10, the formation will read as him not being a 10. So Derek always has an out.
Well, here's the thing. The 3-4-2-1, you could argue the 2 in that group are either 11s or 10s, depending on how they play. So we could play dual 10s. It's possible that could happen against Granada. But I don't think it's going to happen against anybody else because we're not willing to. I think Greg wants to see versus good South American competition what our team looks like playing our usual 4-3-3.
Sure. I don't disagree with that.
He'll fuck around against teams where we're obviously supposed to win 10-0. So is that it?
Oof. Sorry, no, I saw that one. We can't afford that yet, guys. We'll need a couple more $4.99 super chats.
I tell you what, Three Floyds made a great. What was it called? It's a really dark, rich Belgian ale. Really dark. It's I can't remember what it's called. Man, it was good. And then it was just a seasonal thing, so I haven't seen it again. But yeah, and you could only get it at the Big Red, the big one. Mm-hmm. That's as big as a grocery store. Couldn't get it at
Speaking of seasonals, and this is not a beer that you would like by any means, but Barley Island here in Knowlesville serves a Count Hopula during Halloween area. Oh my god, it's so fucking good! And
I hate it already.
And their Patrick Swayze is phenomenal.
IPAs both. You're gonna bring up IPAs.
I don't know what the Patrick Swayze is, to tell you the truth. I've only had it once. It's one of those 11 percenters, and I had mine plus half of my wife's.
So
and
was
I'm
it a stout?
You're gonna have to fucking drive with this one.
Was it a stout? What was it? 11% is high.
It's extremely high. Yes.
Visa?
I don't know what it was. That's what I said. I don't know what the Patrick Swayze was.
You don't know what the beer after tasting it is?
It was years ago, before Jackson was born.
Oh, man, you don't have a very long taste memory.
Jackson's going on 8 years old. I mean, I haven't had the beer in like 8 years minimum.
Oh,
I'm not gonna remember a random Patrick Swayze seasonal.
I believe the Belgian beer was called a cuvée. It just came into my head, or a cuvée. Somebody can fix. My Belgium's bad. Although they don't speak Belgium. There are 3 major languages or more in Belgium, so speak French, Walloon, etc., etc. There's no such thing as a Belgian language, or maybe there is, and I just don't know about it. Maybe they started their own club. All right, Fred Baker. Fred. Hey, Fred. People only think Malik Tillman is good because he plays in the Bundesliga. Greg should have called it Bobby Wood. More fucking Bobby Wood! Jesus Christ. What has Bobby Wood done this season? Absolutely nothing. That's what he's done this season. He's been not good. He's not scoring goals. He's not kicking ass. He's not taking names. You're in good old little MLS. Now, you could say that, could Malik Tillman turn into Julian Green? He could. But at least, we're predatory capping him as soon as possible.
Mine?
I mean, we
Mine?
said we shouldn't do that kind of thing, but it's pretty obvious to Malik at this point, and I'm sure his older brother Timothy, they're not playing for the German national team. I would say that Timothy has a 1% chance of that ever happening, and Malik has like a 10% chance of that ever happening. You got to realize how loaded the Bundesliga is. It is loaded with German players. And
it's one of those things where, you might be an up-and-comer through the youth ranks and stuff. And even Julian Green was an up-and-comer, and he was at Bayern Munich and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was a point somebody else made. I don't know who kept making that point. It was Charlie Davies. He made it on the Soccer Trust show, right? That's the show?
I think so.
Yeah, it's the name of the show. But he kept bringing it up. He's like, hey, Julian Green was the same mold.
He did.
And look how he turned out.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, you can keep saying that, but I mean, look at a dude. This guy's the next dude. Look how he turned out. I'm
Listen,
like,
there are no
apples and oranges.
There's no guarantee with any 18-year-old.
Yeah,
how things are going to go. There's really no guarantee, and the only thing those 3 guys have in common is Greuther Fürth. So they all started there in the youth programs there. So and 2 of them ended back there.
So Tillman will either be the next Pogba or the next Julian Green.
Maybe. Or he could be, I don't know, the next, if he gets tough, balls up and starts being tough, maybe he'll be the next Jermaine Jones. We don't know.
Different positions, but sure.
Yeah, we don't know the answer to the question. Yeah. Well, you got to remember, Jermaine Jones didn't play the holding mid for us with Bob Bradley. That was Michael's son's job. So,
yeah.
Are you being accosted?
I don't know. I keep hearing a thump, 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 thump. And usually that results in a kid coming to the door, and I had to sit there and go, no, no, no.
Yeah. Get a lock on that fucker.
Hey, soon it'll be down in my basement. Even if it's not finished, I'm the rat's ass. I can't keep doing this up here because even though the AC is running up here, I am dying. I need to be downstairs in my nice 50-degree basement.
Oh yeah, that's nice. So good. I know it's 72 here right now in my house, so
yeah,
it's I'd like it to be more like it's 68, but the air conditioner is battling away. It's been a long, warm day, humid too. All right, so we have any more? Are we done?
That is that.
All right, folks. Remember to continue drinking water. Stay,
and some fermented water as well.
You can do that too. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your grandma. As usual, we need to up our female audience, and so
make sure you tell all of your grandmas to hit that notification bell too.
Yep. Apparently, Meg doesn't even watch us, so you need to Twitter her. Tweet her.
I need to Twitter her, huh?
Tweet her.
I'll get on the Twitters and I'll talk to her, okay?
Yeah, do that and say, hey, Meg.
We need our female numbers up.
Our female audience is 100% or
You're a
0%.
female. Do you know other females who want to watch my show?
Could you please, for the love of God, be a one? Give us at least 0.00005%, you know? Yeah. I mean, I don't want this to be a house of sausages. We need some ladies, you know? Where you keep all your dead horse?
Out in the desert. That's where they go.
I usually bury them in the backyard.
Oh, you secret window that shit, huh? You playing corn over top of them, you sick bastard.
No. Yeah, I mean, I know that was a joke, but let's not kill people. All right. That's good. Well, we're all for not killing people. Okay, that's going to do it for tonight. Make sure, we're going to be back Monday again, but this should hold you over through the weekend, I would hope, because, you've got a lot of other things to do with your kids or your family, or maybe you haven't got on Pornhub for a while, so it's time to spank it. So that's what you got to do. You got to do it. Until the next time, thanks for joining us.
Do it again. Whoop. Ah, fuck. And like it. That's way too many likes. I gotta comment on a channel. Fuck. Oh. Yeah. That should probably do. That should probably do.
That hurt. More verticality.